right. Victor, welcome back to Tangy Talks. Always good to see you here in the podcast studio.
Always great to see you as well, Steve. My favorite day of the week. My favorite day of the week, and I think it's all part of Tangy Talks. How are you, Steve?
I'm feeling good. Just got back from a trip that I survived. Went to Las Vegas, everybody, for my brother's bachelor party. Uh, last time I was there was 20 years ago. I think I was 22, so I'm 42 now. So a lot is the same from the last time I was there, which was like right at the tail end of
Yep.
college.
Yep.
And like a year after college, I went again. But it's cool to see like all the new things and just
Very
learned a lot
cool.
about hospitality. Stayed at the Fontainebleau,
Very
and
nice.
which was beautiful, little empty but beautiful, beautiful. They did a great job there, and I got fully submersed in the club culture. I haven't been in a
Hey,
nightclub in a long time like this. Right, these are like some of the best nightclubs in the world. Where like the ceilings moving up and down and lights, and got to
that's
see
incredible.
David Guetta at a daytime pool party the next day. Living like that celebrity life, and
Hey, man.
yeah, I felt good. Uh, got some
Exhausting?
IVs too. Exhausting,
Exhausting? Yeah.
exhausting. But I got some IVs at Fontainebleau. It's so funny. Next to the gym, they have an IV drip station. So you just like go work out, go next door to get your IV, hype yourself back up, head on
Right.
out to the next exciting adventure. And I saw the Sphere.
I
That
was going
Sphere
to ask you that.
was
How was
awesome.
the fear?
Sphere was cool. A member of our group, I think, got a little too intense and ran out screaming. I can't handle this. What he consumed. It wasn't anything that I had, but he had a good time. So Las
That
Vegas,
sounds intense.
right? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But
There you go.
share these highlights of mine that were just great. So, but they
Very
do
cool.
hospitality really well. There
Very
was a
cool.
security officer when I walked in. Right, it was like our first day, and I didn't think anything. I was just, hey, do you know where so and like the cafe is? And she was so nice. Like she actually showed me around. Like took me on a 15-minute tour of the lobby and the hotel. So it just
That's
shows you
incredible.
how that is. And then a friend of mine said that happened to them too. From Sarah Dandashi from
Okay.
hospitality. Same thing. So I guess they train the security officers to be ultra nice and show people around there at that hotel.
Hey, that's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, usually you'll get that here in Miami because they know Steve Turk, right? But so
Yeah,
that's
I don't
really
know.
cool.
Yeah,
That's really cool to know.
so it was awesome. But good trip.
Awesome.
Maybe if 20 years from now I'll go back again. But I'm good for now.
I'm glad you came back in one piece. Yeah, you had a lot of fun stories, and I'm scared of Vegas, man. I'm scared of going. I've never been. I've never
Never
been,
been?
but I'm just like, man, my wallets are just gonna go empty. Going to Vegas and all the casinos, like you literally go into a lot. Look at that,
It's crazy.
Club Steve. That's beautiful.
Club Steve.
Is that the pool party or that's the?
Huh. Yeah,
Man,
crazy. Omnia
thank God
night.
for that IV.
Yeah, I'll show you some videos next week when we're together. Really cool.
Very cool.
Anyhow, back to the show, everybody.
We're back. We're back. I have tomorrow different experience, but tomorrow I have my son's second birthday coming up, so we're taking advantage that flights are still free for kids under 2 years old. And we started calculating. We're like, oh, should we do a party? Should we invite his daycare friends, the family, da da da? And we like just kind of put the whole amount together. We're like, wait a minute, it's the same as going to a trip. So we decided to go on a trip, invited a couple of family members. We're going to beautiful Cancun, which is also where we got married. That's like I feel like we always go there. That's like our,
That's a
you
good
know, that's
place, good
that's
vibes.
that's our like get settled, gets to get relaxation. Just not have any plans, just go and I love the rush of going to new cities and seeing different things. But when you go back to Cancun, it's that island feel that. So I'm going with our son, which that's cool because we've never been over there with them, and it's just a family. We're staying at the Dreams Riviera, and it's like a family hotel. So
Place.
it's gonna have all the slides. It's gonna have all the like the beach stuff and family stuff. So I'm excited. I went last week to the beach with him for the first time in a really long time just to see, kind of prep him, and he loved it. I was glad. I
Beach
was glad.
great life. I can't believe 2 years old for your
Two
boy.
years, man. It's incredible.
If time flies, it really does.
I
All
know,
right.
man. I know. Truly does. I remember when your kids were just born. So it's intense, man. It flies very quickly.
It goes by very fast. But I'm glad you're traveling. You're going to a great hotel. We've been at two great hotels this past week. At least I did. Now you're going to one. And then we were talking about a show that everyone seems to be watching. I haven't got to watch this season yet, so I don't want too many spoilers, but I know you just finished watching it. We're talking about the White Lotus, and the White Lotus seems to be everywhere in pop culture right now. And for those that don't know, it's a drama set in beautiful settings, which is usually the Four Seasons Hotel. And
Yep.
a lot of hotels turned down this show, and the Four Seasons decided to run with it, and now they're sold out at every single location that these White Lotus shows were at because people want to live that life. And so I'll let you talk a little bit about the show, but what we call that, everybody, it's called set jetting, not jet setting. It's set jetting. So you watch
But
something on your TV set, and then you go jetting off to that location. So Emily in Paris, that was on Netflix, that was big for a while. Everyone went to Paris. There's a lot of shows like that, but White Lotus right now popping off, so it can teach us something about marketing, especially in the world of hospitality, not just vacation rentals or hotels or restaurants. If you can get a show that can capture the pop culture, you got a home run. But you've been watching it and you have some thoughts too. What do you think?
yeah, I love that show. I love that show. I love the series. I finished the full entire third season and the last episode. That you go on social media now and everybody's talking about it. There's so many cool themes involved in it, and I know we've talked about it specifically about the show itself. That sometimes doesn't paint the staff and the people in the show in the best light and picture, but it works, right? I think I'm gonna butcher this name, but Four Seasons Resort Koh Samui.
Koh
I think
Samui.
that's Samui. Yep.
Koh
So
Samui.
that's
There in my honeymoon. Yeah.
you were there in your honeymoon. So it's a beautiful hotel in Thailand, and basically it was all hosted there and shot there, and now they're 100% occupied nonstop.
Yep.
We saw a little bit of that in the vacation rental world with the Barbie doll theme house in Malibu when it was like a trending topic. But man, what a show! So cool. It always just builds you up, and then at the end, I don't want to do any spoilers, but at the end, it just like I was telling you backstage, it's just like a bloodbath. It's just incredible. It's super intense, and then throughout the whole entire episode, it starts tying back in the theme of the show, which was Thailand, which was meditative, Buddhists and temples and all that, and yin and yang, and it was just a cool concept and a cool show. And man, it's like I watched it 2 days ago, and I'm still thinking about it. And then I go on social media, and everybody's
Talk about
talking about it. So it's so cool, and hopefully there's more shows like that. And I'm like thinking, I just got my brain working, like how can we tie that in into something vacation rental, what we're doing, or hospitality. I'm like so many cool ideas now that you really can do.
Yeah, we
So
gotta get our own reality show, I guess, going, or get a fictional story created for some of our vacation rentals. So we have some beautiful settings in our properties, but that show I've only seen season one, and
yeah,
say I didn't love how they made like the general manager look and like the staff. Everyone didn't really highlight anyone well.
right.
That, but I understand it's a show, and there are real world things like that. Like I've seen
That's
some of
it.
my team members get arrested. I know people stealing. I know people doing drugs. I know people cheating on their wives or husbands at work. So it is crazy in
Oh,
the hotel world. It really is.
yeah.
Look back at some of the things, and I'm like, you mentioned that to me last time. I was like, it's true. I've seen a lot of crazy stuff in the end. Luckily, you and I are good boys, but there's a lot of people that are not that work in that world.
Yeah, this is crazy, right? Like the intermingling of guests and staff, especially for staff that spends a majority of their time there throughout the day, right? And then guests are coming from everywhere in the world, and they're there most of the time to have fun, right? And who are they going to get the local experience and local tips from? Is the staff themselves that live most likely in that area, right? So and it plays out in the show as well that there was like three ladies that wanted to have fun, wanted to get the real Thailand, and they intermingled with like the masseuse, and the masseuse took them out to the town and partied with them and da da da. And then there was like a whole mix up, of course, after that. But it really happens, man. It really happens. I remember I get many stories of guests coming up to us and asking us for fun things, and then sometimes explicit things, and it's just so funny how you have to like make that line and draw that line with guests, because I can see people getting in trouble doing that.
Very quickly, yes. Just thinking about the young 20-year-old something Steve on the pool deck at Miami Beach hotels. There's a lot of things going on out there. But all right, so maybe it has happened on White Lotus. You know, they pulled some real stories out. But most people in the hotel world and hospitality are good people and trying to put on a good show. So I'm excited that people are watching this and going to the hotels and selling them out because that's great for the teams and staff, and just getting people
Absolutely.
traveling is always great to
Absolutely.
see. So talk about traveling. We took on a new property so people hopefully can travel. We've got a beautiful one right on the water, direct water access now. You can get a boat and take it right on out to the bay, right, and then head out on
Basically,
the ocean. Yeah, so it's beautiful. But what I want to talk about it is that a couple things. One, there's a neighbor that we have to win over, so we can talk how we're doing that, and then working with an owner who's not in the country to get their property up and running officially, right? To say like what it takes to get there, because it's one thing to have somewhere where people live, but it's another thing to have somebody where someone's going on vacation or short-term rental. So
oh
why
yeah,
don't we start with that part?
yeah.
What can we tell people? Like, hey, yes, you might have a beautiful home that you've lived in, but hey, you got to get it ready for vacation rental. What are some things that we could do?
Yeah, no, it's that realization and it's that fine line versus, speaking to an owner directly, letting them know like, hey, these are what guests expect and these are our requirements to keep the standard. In the process, some owners, will take that well. Some owners will say, no, my house is perfect the way it is. Look at it, it's beautiful. So it's that fine line of understanding, being empathetic, but at the same time, coaching and teaching and having the owners themselves realize that this is the expectation of guests. So that part is never easy. It's not an easy conversation, but it's something to keep standard and processes that must be had. The team, man, can't do it without the team. We signed this property last week, and basically it's ready this week. The team went in there every day, and man, worked their tails out, their butts off, for this property itself, and got it around in 1 week. I mean, you went into the property yourself. There was like personal items, maintenance things,
Broken thing.
and
Yep. Mhm.
it was just like, wow, like there's a lot of work to do. So it took us a lot of work, not only to get this property ready, but obviously we have other properties that we need attention as well. So I'm super proud of the team. We're gonna take care of them next week um, for getting this property. We just finished a crazy month as well. So mix all that in, that's it's great. But we talked about it, right? It's sometimes when we have a goal and we set up a cool project like this and we give it to the team and tell them, hey, this is the end goal. Sometimes they'll go in there and they mesh and they kind of run together, and it kind of creates that team camaraderie that you sometimes really want and you want to see in the operation. So that's really cool. And then the property itself, I mean, it's beautiful, like you said, right next to the water. Vista Mar, that's the
Vistamar.
name.
Ooh, I like our new
You like
name,
it?
Vistamar.
Vistamar. So Vistamar is what we're calling it. So it's a 3-2 home, 2-story townhouse feature. So you talked about it with the neighbors. I think the first time that we went to the property, you had the neighbor there hanging out in the backyard, kind of listening in and wanting to see what was going on. So it's basically another, not obstacle. I don't like saying an obstacle, but another kind of point into what we do, and that's really important to us. I always tell our team, just think about you. Sharing a space and being neighbors and having people, that are guests coming in and out. We want to make sure that not only we're vetting the team, the guests, we're making sure that the guests that are coming are going to respect everybody's quality of living, but also creating that relationship with the neighbors, right? Letting them know who you are, what you're doing, how they can get in contact with you, if there's ever any issues, who to reach, and how, to be good neighbors. So that's it entirely, and in essence, what we want is quality of living for everyone, for our guests, as well as, for owners. So it's a cool community that basically owner slash rent, people mixed in there. So you get a little bit of everything in there, but it's a really really great place.
Yeah, I love it. You covered a lot in that. And I think my favorite thing that we're doing is that we want to be good neighbors and we talk to the neighbors and say, hey, here's what's happening. Here's our business cards. Call us if anything's going on. Text us, whatever it is. I think that's just such a nice touch that a lot of people definitely do not do, because that can be uncomfortable. And they don't, oh, we shouldn't tell those neighbors, but we go the opposite route. We go ahead of everybody, make sure that we can talk to them. They have an outlet so it doesn't cause issues down the road. So I'm excited to see how this one goes. And like you said, you just never know when a new property will come in and how it comes in. And I'm proud of the team. So shout out to Santiago and Hilda and Tomas for getting this thing up and running so quickly. And now we get to host guests and make some memories in there for them and take care of these people. And it really is a cool, cool place. It's in a great location. And for listeners, you can go on our website here soon. It'll be up there on tangymgmt.com, and you'll be able to book it yourself if you'd like. Vista Mar. So make sure you check out the Vista
Or,
Mar page on there. So we've got that. We just had our craziest month. Now we're in April. April is kind of a good month here in South Florida. May I'm excited for, because that's when like the seasons in our northern properties will start picking up too. Because
yep.
we have properties in North Carolina and Georgia and South Carolina, and it's F1 race here in Miami. So how are we getting ready? How can people? What tips can we give people to start getting ready if they're like in that busy season in different areas?
Yeah, no. So, I mean, I think we talked about it here. It's like, the revenue management portion and starting ahead of time, kind of pacing things out. I think that's very, very important. And, understanding the market and doing all the homework involved to make sure that, you understand where the property is and what the seasons and events are. March is an incredibly busy and crazy season. So we just talked about it, that we're gonna, take care of our team and make sure that they know that, hey, we just came out of our highest
Month.
basically month of the year. So prep them. April comes down a little bit, and we want to make sure that they feel good and they're ready, because then it kicks up again a little bit here, specifically in South Florida, in May, June, and July, which are the summer months. So we're prepping for them here for that, and then we also got the team prepped in our northern properties, and now everything starts ramping up for them there. So it's interesting, right, to like have different markets and having different teams in different locations, and what the requirements are and what the expectations are for owners and our team members itself. So that's been very unique. We come from hotels, right? So we're used to, our hotel, our property, we control everything within. But now having two separate operational teams, it's very different, and it's a challenge that I think we've taken head on pretty well. So it's awesome to see. I don't know if you have any thoughts on
No,
that.
I think it's right. I think it's really watching the revenue in each place,
Yeah,
making sure that you're supplied correctly. That you're not overbuying supplies, because really, to make money in this industry, you got to watch the costs. Right? It's your labor, it's your supplies, are really your two big key drivers. And if you get out of control there in the wrong months, you can really be feeling the pain. So just make sure you're doing that. But I wasn't going to bring this up. I think we should talk about this. I'm throwing this on you. We didn't prep this, listeners, behind the stage, but something came up this week. There's things that come up in the industry, and it's kind of shocking. Like, we work with realtors a lot, and we don't have to give all the details, but I think we can keep it general, right?
yeah,
We are friends to the realtors, and realtors are friends to us. But there are things that come up where, sometimes the business interests can clash, especially if a property is up for sale and the owner wants to make money both ways. Um, do you want to give some of the story without giving too many
yeah,
details away? Because I think people should know, like, again, we're good people. We try to play fair games, but then there's some people that just are not.
yeah.
And
No,
can you want to share? I think we could share this one, right?
we can share. We can share this. Of course, we can. Yeah, we share the good and the bad, man. We gotta we gotta keep it
Here we
real,
go. Craziness.
and yeah, and be direct on what happens. I'm sure a lot of managers, owners have dealt with this in the past, right? It's a very it's a very unique situation, specifically on the owner side, when they specifically want to sell a property, right? They want to sell a home. You still have guests going into the property. You're still managing the property itself. You, as a property manager, us in this case, work with the realtor to work hand in hand to basically coordinate the showings, the viewings, whatever he needs to come into the property, etc. Our main point and main focus is how to not um, uh, basically mess the experience for the guest or anything when having people coming in and out. So that's a big factor to us, and we have to work hand in hand with the realtors with that situation. But sometimes there may be a conflict of interest, right? the realtors, his interest is obviously in ensuring that he can get a buyer for that property. So in a sense, we are almost in the,
Way.
in a way where not his friend, because we're maybe not allowing his business to continue. So there's that instance obviously, but we understand on his side, we don't want the property obviously to be sold, because maybe that says to us property managers that that property maybe is not going to be managed by us anymore. But it has happened that new owners come in, and we still continue working with that. So we want to be respectful and accommodating to everyone. But in this specific situation, I kind of
You
did
said
a
the same.
whole,
You said the
yeah. In this specific situation, we had a tenant that had rented with us, or a guest that had rented with
We
us
say
for,
midterm stay. We won't say how long, but we'll say
yeah,
midterm.
midterm stay. She rented with us for a short period of time, and she loved the place so much that she wanted to extend for longer periods of time. Perfect, amazing, we love it. Absolutely, we can definitely help you. The
Service was
owner loves it.
fantastic. We moved the furniture around. We set up everything she needed. Got her amenities that she wanted. Set the vibe that she wanted.
She loved it.
So of course she wants to extend with us.
Of course, of course. So we did that experience. We did everything for that guest, and she's ready to go ahead and extend. Of course, the realtor wants to show the house, and he has a possible buyer. Amazing. We coordinated with the guest. No problem at all with the guest. The guest went, but this realtor took it upon himself to introduce himself to the guest, which is totally fine. We appreciate that, because obviously, if he were to have to do that again, we want them to know who the person is. But he took it upon himself in letting the guest know, hey, it is great that you want to extend with us. But instead of going through the management company, come through us, the realtor, and don't say anything. Which then at that moment, rubbed the guests the wrong way, and obviously hurting our business, or the potential business, in us helping this guest that we've been helping her for quite some time. So obviously there was a conflict there of interest. In that sense, we wanted to keep it professional, and we hated the fact that now we have to get the owner involved in that situation, because basically we just got the rug kind of just
Pulled from
swept
us.
from under us, in that sense. So it was an interesting situation, and I think we held it, and
Yeah,
kind
we
of
did a good job
good.
for it. I was gonna say
Yeah,
like this guy
but
tried
it's
to
the reality.
like he tried to sign our guest as his own to get commission on a midterm rental to present it to the owner as if he found this person. Yeah, he found them in the house that we booked. Right? It's just crazy what's going on out
It
there.
was bizarre.
So just make sure you've got everything tight and lined up in your business because if that guest had never told us, we may have
Yeah,
never known
yeah.
of
She
what.
doesn't want to extend. The realtor found a tenant for the owner. Great, he took in that commission, and we're there set sailing. Uh,
Yeah, so
it's
it makes
incredible.
sense to me, right? So listen, realtors, we're here to be your friends. We're here to work with you. We want you to do showings. We have a great realtor we're working with right now at another property, and we're going to coordinate and make sure that they can get their views on there because we want the best for the owner of the property. So if the goal for the owner is to make some money while they sell, we'll be there for you. If your goal is to make as much money as you can in short-term and midterm rentals and long-term that we manage, we're here for you, right? But let's be sure that we're clear and that we are not trying to
Yeah,
steal each other's business because it can get
100%.
very nasty. And
Can.
Tangy doesn't, right? We don't go low, but we can. I started getting negative yesterday. Victor I was getting aggressive,
It's
but
karma, man. It's karma. It's
yeah,
that's why we always want to do right and do good, because we have many blessings. We have many blessings, and things go our way. But I want to add some resolution to this
yeah.
story.
Tell me what
Let me,
happened.
let me add some resolution. This is live, man. This is live, and actually just happened this
I
morning.
don't know this part.
Yeah. So obviously this occurred. I contacted the guest personally. Obviously, told her and apologized to her profusely about the mix-up. That is just a very uncomfortable situation. They're from California, don't know the situation here in Miami. If people know Miami, realtors can sometimes come off as a bit aggressive. So we had to gain that trust back from that guest. We had built so much rapport that she completely understood where that conflict of interest may be. We told them that we represent the owner, and the owner is in direct communication with us daily, and we want the best for her and the best for the owner itself. So please understand the situation, and continue working with us, which she absolutely agreed on. She had a couple of like requirements for her to to agree in that extension. And today she signed the agreement, and
Us.
we have her extended this morning. She just signed the agreement. So we have the agreement signed by the owner and the tenant himself for that extension, and we locked in a very good rate for that owner. So I'm really excited for the owner, for the guest, and that even with all this kind of going on, we found solution and we worked um, hand in hand with both of them. So there you
See,
go.
it always ends in a good way. Tangy coming through, the tangy
Yep.
pitches, which I love. It's it's a lot, man. This business is a lot. You never realize all the little things, especially when you're managing other people's properties and you didn't do the arbitrage model where you're renting out something so you control everything. It's just amazing.
It's
Well,
crazy.
some other stuff we can't give all the details yet, but I'm very excited that we signed our agreement. We have a lease in place now to do our landscape resort, we're going to call it. So we started with glamping. We've been upgrading it as it goes. So I'm excited because Tangy is officially going to be the management company of this project that we are also developing. And Victor and I are part owners of this. We've built an amazing team of the best in the industry. So I'm excited to announce that hopefully in the next 2 weeks. So maybe in like 2 episodes, we can start sharing some info, which will be awesome. Definitely at our networking event that we're going to be having on May 6th at the Mandarin Oriental here in Miami. So if you're a hospitality pro and vacation rental or whatever it might be, come on over. You can buy a ticket. We'll share a link with you all in the post. We would love to see you there. We'll be sharing some info there too.
I
But what
love
do you
that.
think? How are you feeling about this project without
Yeah.
giving away details?
Yeah, I've been super excited about it. I mean, we've been working on it for so long, and it's our first real project. We've always talked about, controlling our destiny, and I think that's exactly what we're doing. I think already, we haven't even gotten to the phase of the building portion of it, but we've learned so much, man. We've learned so much. This has not only been like our university or high school, and where we've learned, but it's going to be the vehicle to possible, bigger and cooler and as cool projects. So I'm super excited. I can't wait to share with everyone. I know we put some really cool pictures up on here of what we got going on. It's beautiful. The team has done an amazing job, building all of the pitch decks and building all of the marketing behind it.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm super excited. I mean, you've done an awesome job. This was your vision a couple of years ago that you've worked really hard on. So I'm just excited. The team is excited. This is a big step for us all, and I hope yeah, when it's all said and done, everybody is gonna enjoy it, and it's gonna be top tier, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, it just shows you got to stay consistent, right? I could have given up on this 2 years ago when I hit many hurdles, and at one point it was just me and you, right, saying we're going to get this through, and me just going with lawyers, talking to the city, talking to the county, many meetings, getting rejected, spending thousands of
I was
dollars
gonna
just to
say
get
it got expensive.
rejected. And then
Yeah,
one day I remember just talking to my dad, and he's like, I told him, I was like, if I don't put my chips on the poker table, I just folded and lost all my money. So I put my chips in all one last time, got approved, got our zoning approved, and then we had to build a team because I realized, like, I don't know how to build this. So we had to get the best in the industry together. I'm excited to talk about them because really, it's like a plus team that we put together,
incredible. It's the
and
dream team here.
very exciting to be able to work with everyone moving forward. So a lot of exciting things going on in our world here at Tangy. So I'm
Amazing. A lot of perseverance, man. I'm excited. We're not even done yet, so I know there's going to be many more things that will.
now we're at the start line. We had to get
Exactly.
all the prep to get to the start line. Now the start line starts today, and
It's
so
incredible. It's
now we're
incredible.
on
But
it.
perseverance, man, and I know a lot of the people that listen are, are colleagues of ours and people who are big risk takers, and we've gotten a lot of risk done to get to this point as well, and you could see that sometimes with hard work, good people, trust and everybody pushing for the same goal in mind, you can get a lot accomplished. So these risks don't feel as risk when you have the people involved that you do. So it's exciting.
I think you nail it. I think we got the A plus team. And listeners, you all are A plus too. So if you found something very good in this episode, or some good knowledge, or just had some fun, share it with a friend. I'm sure they're going to like it too. And until next week, everyone, stay hospitable.